What if one of the most private questions you've maybe thought about but never really asked out loud actually held a surprising secret to a healthier future? We're talking about a part of male anatomy many guys tend to ignore, until it causes trouble, and maybe a daily habit that might be, wow, more beneficial than you think. In this deep dive, we're going to tackle the discomfort and, frankly, the confusion around prostate health, especially as men age. We'll reveal what recent science is saying about some common habits. Our goal today: cut through all that noise, give you crucial, actionable insights so you feel empowered, really, to take control of your own health. No more guessing, no more anxiety, just clear, practical steps to kind of demystify a subject that impacts millions. So if you're ready to get informed, feel better, definitely make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way you won't miss any future deep dives with practical, no-nonsense health advice. Okay, let's unpack this then. Before we get into the big questions about habits and health. What is the prostate anyway? For a lot of guys, it's just this quiet, kind of mysterious gland that only gets noticed when it starts acting up.
Yeah, that's a very common way people think about it. So the prostate is actually a small gland about the size of a walnut. It's positioned right below the bladder. And interestingly, it wraps around the urethra, that's the tube carrying urine out of the body. Its main job.
Yeah.
Producing the seminal fluid. That's the fluid that nourishes and transports sperm. So yeah, it's a really critical part of the male reproductive system. And it just quietly does its job for, decades usually.
Right. And you're absolutely spot on. For most men, it just works away in the background until it doesn't. And that's where things get really interesting, isn't it? Because as men get older, especially after 40, this quiet gland starts to go through some pretty significant changes.
Indeed, it does. There's a natural tendency for the prostate to enlarge as men age. It's a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH for short. Now, it's really important to stress this is a natural part of aging, and it is not cancer. But it's the main reason for those really frustrating urinary symptoms many men start to notice. See, as it grows, it kind of squeezes the urethra, and that leads to problems like difficulty starting urination, maybe a weak stream, needing to go more often, especially at night, and also that annoying feeling like you haven't completely emptied your bladder. And when fluid doesn't get expelled efficiently, it can lead to retention. That causes pressure, discomfort, and even a state of chronic low-grade inflammation inside the gland itself.
So it's not just about size, it's the impact of that size on the plumbing, so to speak, creating this sort of internal pressure. What else is going on during these age-related changes?
Well, the second big factor is hormonal shifts. As men age, there's a natural decline in overall testosterone levels. But here's the tricky part. The body converts some of that remaining testosterone into a much, much more potent form called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT.
DHT.
Yeah, and this DHT is, problematic for the prostate because it binds really strongly to receptors on the prostate cells. It essentially tells them to grow and divide much faster, and that directly fuels the prostate's enlargement. So this hormonal imbalance is a major underlying driver.
Makes sense. Hormones play such a big role in everything.
They really do. And then the third significant change is simply an increased statistical risk of cellular abnormalities. Think about it like this. Your body is constantly replacing old cells day in, day out, over decades with trillions and trillions of cell divisions happening. There's just a higher chance that a mistake can happen during that replication process. This can lead to abnormal cell growth. So you combine that background inflammation we talked about, these specific hormonal changes, and just the sheer passage of time, it significantly increases the risk of conditions like prostate cancer. And that's exactly why regular proactive screening becomes so essential.
Okay, understanding those internal shifts is definitely crucial. Now let's pivot a bit to something more actionable. What does all this mean for our daily habits? Specifically, let's tackle that question lots of men probably wonder about. Is frequent ejaculation, whether it's through masturbation or with a partner, is it good or bad for prostate health?
Yes. This is where the science gets really quite compelling, actually. There was a landmark study, a big one, published in the European Urology Journal. It followed thousands of men for almost 2 decades. A long time.
Wow, okay.
And it found a really powerful link. It showed that men who reported ejaculating more frequently, the studies specifically looked at around 21 or more times per month, had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to guys who ejaculated much less, say only 4 to 7 times per month.
21 times or more. That's quite specific. Or lower risk.
Significantly lower, yes. The leading explanation for this is what researchers call the prostate flushing hypothesis. The basic idea is that with each ejaculation, the prostate essentially gets flushed out. This process is thought to help clear away old cells, maybe cells that are slightly damaged, and also any potentially harmful substances or even carcinogens that might have built up inside the gland. Things that could otherwise contribute to inflammation or abnormal cell development down the line. You can think of it like, regularly flushing the pipes in your house to prevent blockages or stagnant buildup.
That's a fascinating analogy, flushing the pipes. So is this flushing the main idea, or are there other things contributing to this potential buildup?
Well, the flushing hypothesis is the main mechanism that scientists directly link to the act of ejaculation itself. But here is the critical part. I really want you to hear this. Frequent ejaculation is not a magic bullet. It's just not.
Okay, important clarification.
Absolutely. It's one piece, maybe a helpful piece, but just one piece of a much larger, more complex health puzzle. It absolutely cannot make up for, say, a poor diet or not getting enough exercise or skipping your annual checkups with the doctor. Think of it as a helpful factor, but it really has to be part of a complete healthy lifestyle to have the best effect.
Right, context is everything. It's part of the whole picture, not the whole picture itself. So we've covered the sort of established understanding, aging, hormones, BPH, even this flushing idea with ejaculation. But like with many health topics, there are always new theories popping up, sometimes quite unconventional ones. And on that note, there's this controversial discovery that seems to be gaining some attention, mainly from scientists over in Japan. It offers a very different take on what causes prostate problems.
Yes. What these Japanese scientists are proposing is quite different from the mainstream view we've been discussing. Their theory is that the real culprit for millions of men is something they call a hidden prostate clog. They describe it as a kind of hard accumulation, a ball really, of built-up cells and toxins inside the prostate. And according to them, this clog is what slows down circulation and physically squeezes the bladder and urethra, causing all the symptoms.
A hidden clog, like a physical blockage.
That's how they frame it, yes. They suggest it's a unique buildup of specific cellular waste and inflammatory stuff, forming a distinct obstruction. They've even pioneered a method, they claim, using a specific kind of powerful spring water juice that supposedly dissolves this clog in just days. Their claim is that this helps men pee like a river again and can shrink their prostate fast. It's definitely presented as a unique approach focusing on this single potent solution.
Okay, that sounds, well, quite dramatic. A spring water juice dissolving a clog in days. Has this idea, this clog theory, been looked at or verified by, the wider medical community outside of this specific group in Japan? And how do they explain why regular diagnostics haven't picked up on this supposed clog?
That's an excellent and really crucial question to ask here. It's so important to place this within the broader scientific context. While these claims are certainly intriguing, this concept of a physical clog that can be rapidly dissolved by a specific juice, well, it's not currently supported by mainstream urological science or evidence. The conventional understanding, the things we talked about earlier, BPH, hormonal cellular changes, these are identified through standard, validated diagnostic tools like ultrasound, MRI, biopsies. This clog theory is considered controversial precisely because it's a major departure from that established medical understanding. It would need a lot of rigorous, independent validation before it could be accepted by the broader medical community. So, we're mentioning it because it's out there. It's a theory gaining attention from a specific source, but it's vital for you, the listener, to understand its current standing or lack thereof in the wider scientific discussion.
Understood. That's a really important distinction. Established science versus emerging, and in this case, controversial theories. Okay, so now that you have this clearer picture of what's happening inside and you're aware of these different perspectives, let's get really practical. Let's talk about what you can actually do about it. Here is your 4-pillar action plan for supporting a healthy prostate.
Absolutely. Pillar number 1, annual medical checkups. Honestly, this is non-negotiable. Starting around age 40, maybe earlier if you have a family history, definitely talk to your doctor about that. You really need to see a urologist every year. This checkup typically includes 2 key things. The PSA blood test, which measures a specific protein the prostate makes.
PSA, yeah, hear a lot about that.
You do. And the other part is the digital rectal exam, the DRE. Now, I know the DRE often makes guys apprehensive, but truly it's a very quick procedure, usually 15 seconds, maybe less, and it can literally save your life. It's also worth noting, while the PSA test is super important, it's not perfect on its own. PSA levels can go up due to inflammation or just BPH, not only cancer. That's why your doctor considers it together with the DRE findings and your overall health picture. But the bottom line is, Early detection is, without a doubt, the single most important factor in successfully treating prostate cancer if it does develop.
Okay, pillar 1, checkups, non-negotiable. Got it. What's pillar 2?
Pillar number 2 is focusing on an anti-inflammatory diet. You've got to give your body the right fuel to fight inflammation, which we know contributes to prostate issues. This means really cutting back on or avoiding foods known to promote inflammation systemically. Things like red meat, heavily processed foods, fried foods, and definitely excess sugar.
The usual suspects, really.
Pretty much, yeah. Instead, you want to load up your plate with a wide variety of vegetables, fruits, and those healthy fats. Think avocado, nuts, olive oil. These foods are packed with antioxidants and other compounds that help calm down that systemic inflammation. And here's a little secret weapon for your prostate.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Interesting. Yes. They are packed with lycopene. It's a powerful antioxidant that studies have shown has some really impressive protective benefits specifically for the prostate. And here's a pro tip. Lycopene is actually absorbed better by your body when the tomatoes are cooked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so things like tomato sauce, tomato paste, even a good quality ketchup. Obviously, watch the sugar content can be excellent ways to get that beneficial lycopene.
That's brilliant. Making lycopene even easier to get. Okay, practical stuff. What's pillar 3?
Pillar number 3, consistent physical activity. Now, you don't need to go out and run marathons unless you want to, but consistent movement is really key. Aim for at least, say, 30 minutes of moderate activity like brisk walking on most days of the week. Strength training is also fantastic, partly because it helps regulate hormones, which, remember we talked about DHT, that plays a direct role in how prostate cells grow.
Right, the hormone connection again?
Exactly. And there's one specific type of exercise, often overlooked but really beneficial: Kegel exercises. These strengthen your pelvic floor muscles. Those muscles provide crucial support for both your bladder and your prostate. Stronger pelvic floor can really help improve urinary control and flow. Plus, they're super simple. You can do them pretty much anywhere, anytime.
Kegels. Okay, often hear about them for women, but important for men too. Good to know. And the final pillar.
Pillar number 4. And it sounds simple, but it's hydration. Just drinking enough water.
Ah, the simplest things often are.
They really are. It's absolutely crucial, though. Aiming for around 2 to 3 liters of water throughout the day does a few really important things. First, it dilutes your urine, which makes it less irritating to the bladder and urethra. Second, it just keeps your entire urinary system working smoothly. And third, it helps your body efficiently flush out toxins. It's such a small, simple habit, but it has a surprisingly huge impact on overall urinary and prostate health.
Okay, 4 pillars: checkups, anti-inflammatory diet, consistent activity including Kegels, and hydration. Seems like a solid plan. So bringing this all together then, caring for your prostate clearly isn't something to just, ignore or put off until there's an obvious problem. It's really an essential part of proactive health management for men. It's crucial if you want to maintain a high quality of life for decades to come. And maybe the most powerful first step is just breaking the silence, getting informed like you are right now, and understanding both the established science and maybe some of the emerging ideas out there. Ultimately, your health is your responsibility, right? And taking action based on good information, that's incredibly empowering. So this deep dive, we've covered a lot, from the basic anatomy and how things change with age to that surprising science about daily habits like ejaculation, even touched on controversial theories, and most importantly, laid out those 4 foundational lifestyle pillars. As you kind of reflect on everything you've heard today, maybe consider this. What one small, consistent change will you commit to making starting today to really take charge of your prostate health for the long run? If this deep dive has helped you understand this vital topic better, please do us a quick favor and share it with someone else you think needs to hear this message, a friend, a family member. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more no-nonsense practical health advice just like this.